So if you thought things were bad before, well, guess again. Things are going to go from bad to worse very soon. And it is because more states are now saying that they are backing Texas and they are going to implement the same laws that Texas has. So Texas, who is currently fighting immigration laws with the federal government, well, guess what? Other states are going to do the exact same thing because they are tired of the federal government allowing thousands upon thousands of people illegally into the United States with no recourse. So we're going to see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is the anticipation is building. Many people are concerned that states are going to be having somewhat of a civil war with the federal government. So we're going to address that in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So just a couple of days ago, we learned that Texas was going to be allowed to go and arrest people using their local law enforcement officials. They could arrest people that were considered or were potentially illegal immigrants. Now, the problem now is that the Supreme Court or lower court said, no, you can't do that. So now the anticipation and the anger on Texas border, this is becoming a bigger problem. Because again, their strict border policy is now on hold. It was on hold, and then the Supreme Court said, no, we are not going to extend that. And so then they could go and arrest people, which according to the Texas law enforcement officials, they said they were going to do that immediately. But within 2 hours of the Supreme Court saying that no, they were not going to extend that ruling, we heard that no, it was blocked again. Now Texas is extremely upset. So this is why Texas authorities are pretty much waiting. They're just waiting to enforce the law. As soon as they can, they will start arresting people. Well, here's where things get very interesting. We now know that other states are going to follow suit with Texas. Republican states are going to pretty much implement other immigration bills. Now, we're going to address this in today's video because some of these states you may not think are the ones that are going to implement it, but some will. Let's go ahead and read through some of this article. It says on Tuesday, the same day that Texas was briefly allowed to enforce a new law empowering police officers to arrest migrants in the country without legal permission, Iowa lawmakers passed a bill that would make it a crime to enter their state after having been deported or denied entry into the United States. It says at least 7 states, all controlled by Republicans, are hoping to follow suit or have already considered bills that were not passed. Here's the big thing. 7 other states. And this is where Texas has said they are going to get the ball rolling. Texas will be the leader. They are the ones down the southern border, obviously being impacted the most. Well, one of the things that Texas has vowed is they're going to make sure every other state feels the effects that Texas is feeling. This is one of the reasons why Texas is continuing to bus and fly people from Texas to New York, to Chicago, to Denver. They're getting people out of Texas so that they can spread the wealth or spread the heartbreak, and based off what they're saying. Now, let's keep reading it. It says, the flurry of laws and proposals meant to crack down on migrants entering the country illegally is part of the extraordinary mix of immigration, litigation, and politics that is producing legal gridlock in our courts and confusion at the border. One thing I just want to say is we are seeing this all over the place. People are coming into the United States from Venezuela, from Colombia, from Brazil, from China. They're coming in, from Mexico. They're coming in from all over the place. The problem is they're not getting the information that they need. They're getting misinformation. So they cannot just enter into the United States, walk across the border, and they are handed a work permit. That's not the case, but yet that's what some people are spreading. They're spreading those rumors down in South America. That's why more people are coming, because they think they can work. They think there's free housing, free food, free healthcare. No, there's free housing in certain locations, free food in most locations, free education in all locations, free healthcare in California. But as far as a work permit, you're going to be out of luck there. And this is why some are paying anywhere between $150 to $400 just to get a social security card so that they can work and they can get paid. But again, that's for another video. It says, the fate of all these bills, though, will most likely hinge on the outcome of the Texas case, according to legal analysts and groups involved in migration issues. It says, if the Texas law is upheld, then observers expect more bills from Republican-leaning states modeled after what Texas did. This is the big thing. Everyone is looking at Texas, and the Supreme Court knows this. The Biden administration knows this. If Texas wins, it's not just a win for Texas. It's a win for Republican states that are going to do the exact same thing. Let's keep reading. It says Kansas and Oklahoma are among the states this year have introduced legislation related to illegal entry into the United States, echoing the law in Texas. Louisiana became the most recent on Monday that introduced legislation, and Missouri has 2 bills, including one sponsored by State Senator Bill Eagle, who is one of the leading candidates for governor this year. The big thing right now is more states are getting tired of trying to fight and address budget cuts, budget concerns, and the issue is they're going to have to cut their budget. They're going to have to lay off law enforcement officials. They're going to have to reduce the spending to state parks. Can't spend as much money on building better roads and making sure schools have exactly what they need. In most cases, schools are going to be hit the most. You're going to see children that are going to struggle over the next 5 to 10 years because schools are going to start to lose some of their funding. Teachers are going to be let go. They could potentially close schools. Yeah, that's what we're seeing. I want to read you this. I think this is interesting. Right here it says, the bigger picture is, given the scope of illegal immigration and the impact that's having on states and local communities, we're likely to see more efforts on the parts of these jurisdictions to try to discourage people from settling there illegally. One of the things that has happened, and I think it's interesting, New York is giving illegal immigrants a one-way ticket to wherever they want. A one-way ticket to other sanctuary cities or even out of the country. One way. They say, do not come back. You got a one-way ticket. We will buy it for you. So it's on the taxpayers' dollars. But do not come back. Most people are not taking them up on that offer. Number one, based off what people are saying, is they like New York City. It's the Big Apple. That's what they see when they watch TV. They see 2 different cities. Los Angeles, New York. Those are the 2 cities. So that's where everybody wants to go. One of those 2 states. But in New York, they're not offering free healthcare like California. They don't have the good weather what California used to have. They don't have it. But California is extremely expensive, as is New York City. So we'll see what happens there. I want to read you this as well. It says, under the Oklahoma proposal, which again, we're hearing about more and more proposals, and the expectation is more will be coming very soon. It says, under the Oklahoma proposal, anyone who was arrested or accused of a crime and then determined to be unlawfully present in the country would be guilty of a felony punishable by at least 10 years in prison. Here's the thing. What some are talking about is just putting people in prison. But then if we do that, currently there's millions of people that are here in the United States illegally. Can we just put millions of people in a prison? No, we don't have the room. So that would be another issue. We are not just going to build prisons in order to hope to catch all these illegal immigrants and stick them in prison. No. Based off what we're hearing is many of these states are considering prison time, but they can get out of that if they are deported back to their actual home country. But if they make their way back into that state, then they would be put in prison. So we're going to see what happens, but all I can tell you right now is 7 states, well, Texas including, so 8 states are fighting the federal government, which according to some, this could lead to a civil war. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way. I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.